current Nissan Altima may have been introduced back in '07, but it was actually the second best-selling car last year. It was also really good. So a new Altima has some pretty big shoes to fill. And here in New York, we got our first glimpse at whether it does.
Introducing the all-new Nissan Altima.
The new Altima is wider than before, but basically the size hasn't changed much. Can't say that's really a problem. The engine lineup also isn't much different. You have a choice of a 2.5-liter four-cylinder or a 3.5-liter V6. Output really hasn't changed, but it's lighter, and thanks to a new CVT, fuel economy is dramatically better. The four-cylinder gets 31 miles per gallon combined, which would make it the only family sedan to break the 30 mark. There's one area where the old Altima could be improved upon. It was the interior. The materials were okay, but there wasn't a lot of design going on. This new one is a lot better. I really like the center stack with its piano black trim. The gauges look pretty cool. Nissan said they designed these seats with input from NASA to reduce spinal loads and fatigue on long trips. They're called zero-gravity seats. Ooh. The Altima has been one of the most fun-to-drive cars in its class, and Nissan promises that the new one will be no different. This one is stiffer, it's lighter, and a new system automatically brakes one of the front wheels during cornering to reduce understeer. But we'll have to wait to drive it to see if it all does the trick.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the 2013 Nissan Altima. It's all new. New engine, new sheet metal, new transmissions, new interior. All right, never mind. It's pretty much the same. This is Nissan's best-selling car, so they weren't going to mess with it. So here's the rub. The information about how the new Altima drives is embargoed. So while I can't tell you how it drives, I can fudge it and I can show you how it drives. I think the biggest improvement by far is in the styling of the new car. The old one to me looked, a little frumpy, almost a little dour. This new one, it looks like they squished it and stretched it. It's a lot more modern, it's a lot more current, it's a lot more sexy.
When you have a product that's as successful as the Altima, if you change everything about it, then a lot of your loyal customers and the people that might intend the car, they might not be satisfied with the changes that you make. Not all changes are good.
Under the hood, the big news is that there is no change, because you've got, as in the previous generation, this 3.5-liter V6 that puts out 270 horsepower, and you can also get the car with the 2.5-liter, 182 horsepower four-cylinder, which is 7 horsepower more than the previous generation. Performance and handling. Unfortunately, that would be a driving impression, so I can't talk about that. What I can tell you is that according to Nissan, the best-selling 2.5-liter Altima will go from 0 to 60, and wait for it, 7.1 seconds. Just like the previous generation, there are really only two choices of Altimas. There's this one, which is a base, which starts at about 22,000, and you can go all the way up to the V6, and that one, well, that one can get up to 32,000. All right, there is a price to be paid for 38 miles to the gallon, and here it is. It's the CVT. Well, the number over your shoulder, 38, that's the big news.
Right.
How did you achieve that?
We took a holistic approach on the vehicle, so we didn't just look at one system, just the engine or just the transmission. We looked at the entire vehicle. So we achieved it through, of course, vast improvements in the CVT, improvements in the engine, but also things like we made the vehicle lighter, 79 pounds lighter than the outgoing model.
For 2013, Nissan didn't really change the dimensions, at least not the inside of the car. So for somebody my size, 6'2", it's pretty tight. If you want a big car, go for the Camry or the Passat.
This particular size of the vehicle is the ideal size for the mid-size customer.
Nissan wasn't about to mess with the Altima. It's their best-selling car by far. What they did was they made it better looking, at least in my mind. They refined it, and they gave it the best-in-class fuel economy at 38 mpg on the highway. If you want to find out how it drives, you're going to have to wait for our next video, which is coming up at the end of the week. As always, this is Roman, reporting for the Fast Lane Car. See you next time.
This is a display that shows the 4-in-1 camera that we have on the 2013 Altima. This camera not only displays the backup functions that a lot of rear view cameras offer, but also has 3 other technologies built into it. It has lane departure warning, blind spot warning, and moving object detection. So all of those technologies are created through image processing using just this camera.
And what happens if it gets dirty?
Very good question. You know, in Michigan or a lot of northern climates, you know, you might have a lot of road spray and things like that in the winter. This camera, again, through image processing, can determine whether the lens is dirty or clean, and if it determines that it's dirty, it will automatically spray some washer fluid onto the lens and dry it.